Hey guys, so our project for today is out in the oil field. We've got to go out in the field and do a project for one of our customers. So they've got this thing called a treater, and it separates the oil and the water. And our customer's got a problem with the one that they ordered. They ordered one like it and they were having some problems, so they had an engineer come up and design a thing for it, and they gave me a drawing to help me with this project of what they wanted built and where they wanted it placed in this building. Well, in this thing called a treater, which helps separate the oil and the gas. It's got a part in there right now called a wave breaker, and it's not getting the job done, so they need to put more of a diverter plate in there to help it function properly. Problem is it's a 6-foot diameter circle, and the only point of egress into this vessel is a 16-inch circle. In fact, it was so small that Adrian wasn't able to get his shoulders in and actually get inside the treater. Alex and I had to do all the work because Adrian wasn't able to even fit in through the opening. It was a pretty tight squeeze. So anyhow, I even had a little bit of a trouble. Ow, ow, ow. But what do you do? You know, I love this YouTube thing, and I like being able to do the fun projects like the go-karts and everything, but I'm also running a welding business at the same time, and sometimes work gets in the way of having fun, so I figured, you know, a lot of this stuff isn't interesting enough for us to show you guys. You know, welding brackets or welding pipes or just all the plumbing things we have to do that are just kind of, you know, mundane, boring things that we have to do. And not really worth putting on the internet, but it was a pretty interesting project, and I think it was pretty neat, and I thought I wanted to share it with you guys. So here it is. So we got a whole bunch of plates here that we had to cut into strips and make it so they could bolt together with holes. I had these plasma cut out at my local steel supplier. We have to go through this opening here. We have to cut out that thing, which was called a wave breaker. And then we got to weld that plate in here in the middle. They gave us some marks where it needs to go. It's going to be fun. So that's going to be fun. We got Alex and Adrian here, and we got a little oilless air compressor hooked to some air hoses that we jerry-rigged up some masks. Just these 3M filter masks with an air hose fitting to some fender washers we tapped, so that they can breathe a little easier and not have to breathe all that coating, because this thing has this epoxy coating so that it doesn't corrode easily. Well, you can't weld over that, so we got to grind that out, and that's going to be just lovely. It's going to be a big mess. So that's what we have going. We got a big air fan that we're going to put up to the hole once they're in and blow air through. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is called a treater, guys, and what this does is it separates the water from the oil. As it comes out of the ground, it comes into here, and it's basically just a big thing that allows the water and the oil to separate, because oil floats on top of the water. Well, the way they designed this, it's not doing that very well, so the engineers gave us a drawing and said make this happen, so that's what we're doing. So the first thing we have to do is grind off this epoxy coating from this big plate that's in here called a wave breaker. It's not doing very good at breaking up the waves, so we're gonna put this metal baffle in there. But you can't really torch through this epoxy coating very good at all. Like, your flame doesn't want to penetrate it and get to the steel, and if you don't grind off all this coating, you really can't cut it. Even with that coating on, this was kind of a pain to torch through, but Alex did a good job, and just like bringing in those big pieces was going to be a pain trying to get it through that little hole, we had to cut this into smaller pieces too to be able to fit it out that 16-inch circle. Fresh air in there. So while Alex was cutting out that wave breaker, Adrian and I laid out the plates and our little diverter panel for the passage that goes between them. It's kind of a little T-shaped slot, but then it gets this diverter plate. But yet again, the diverter plate was too big to fit through the hole, so I had to break it into two pieces. We just wanted to make sure that all the pieces were there and fit together. The customer wanted us to use stainless steel hardware for corrosion reasons, so I got stainless steel bolts and nuts and lock washers. But I find stainless likes to gall and seize itself together while you're trying to tighten it up, so a little bit of anti-seize goes a long ways. Then while Alex was grinding off the rest of those welds from the wave breaker, I had him pass me in all those plates and I started assembling those. I had to delete the footage of the beginning of me putting the plates together because the whole first part of it, apparently my butt was just hanging out and I was cracking the camera the whole time, so I didn't want to expose you guys to that too bad. That fan just kept blowing my shirt up and yeah, so I started here. You're welcome. Once I got far enough along, I needed Alex's help to put the other layers on there. We got it started and then we just kind of set it out of our way until he finished cleaning up the welds. We both ground on it for a while. We were able to grind it and make it look pretty decent. It's all going to get coated with that epoxy coating. When we get done, there'll be a crew that comes in and sandblasts and coats it. It would have been nice had they came in and sandblasted all this coating off ahead of us where we needed to weld this, but no such luck. So here we are with grinders trying to grind all that epoxy away. Look at all that dust blowing out of there. It's a good thing we had that big fan blowing all this dust out. Otherwise, man, it really would have got even thicker in there where we were trying to work. Such loveliness. You just get coated in this stuff, no matter what you do. That stuff's super tough and it gums up your discs like crazy. It just makes a big old mess and then you're just covered in this dust, and no matter how much you blow it out or sweep it out or wipe it out, that dust's everywhere and it gets all over you. And then since you're in a rounded bottom, it's super easy to work in there. You get that fine dust and it's just like bearings, and you're trying to work in that radius and you just keep slipping down to the middle no matter how you try it. It's just super fun trying to work on an unflat surface. But you know, what do? You get it done. You have to grind off all this epoxy though, otherwise you can't really weld to it. If you try and weld with any of that epoxy or that epoxy dust, your weld will just bubble up and go all foamy and just turn into a big spongy mess of porosity. Won't be good for much and won't be very strong, and it definitely won't seal anything. So then we took a leaf blower, cleaned it all up, and between the two of us, we kind of got her in position there enough that we could at least square it up and true it up and get it aligned to our marks. Then we had to rotate it and get our level in there. So much fun trying to move that big heavy piece all as one. Trying to get it level and rotate it. Not the easiest thing because it's on a round surface. You don't have anything to pry on to move it, just a little bit of beating it around. But then our holes were narrow enough. You know, we had 9/16 holes and 1/2 inch bolts, so it was kind of like an accordion a little bit. So we were able to pry and position and close a bunch of that gap, because when we started we had like a 3/4 inch gap all the way around, and when we got done we got it to where we only had like a 1/4 inch gap for a little part of the part on the right there, and it wasn't too bad to weld, not too big of a gap to fill. So yeah, I used to work with this old welder and he'd always say, you know, if you can jump it, I can weld it. But the bigger of a gap you have, the more of a pain it is to fill. The closer you can get your fit, it's always going to be better and warp less and have less problems, so you can have stronger welds. But you know, enough time under the hood and you get to where you can fill a gap pretty good. You know, you can always add a little filler metal if you need to and weld over it, but it's just always better to have a good close fit. Yeah, that guy'd always say he could weld anything but the crack of dawn. Got her all done. Then just adding a bunch of hardware, a million bolts to this thing. I might have overdone it with how many bolts we needed, but I figured it was a lot better to have more bolts than not enough to pull these two plates together like a flange and keep it nice and tight so that it's not leaking through there. Like I say, they're going to come through and they're going to coat all this, so it should be a good seal. Shouldn't have any problems with that. Plus, liquid is supposed to go from one side to the other, just mostly through this slot. So we should be good to go all around. Between the coating and how many bolts I have, nice and tight. We don't have to worry about warping a whole lot as we weld stuff, and it just worked a lot better. You know, the engineer in the drawing didn't give me a bolt pattern for this. They just wanted one big piece, but like I said, there was no way to get it in here. So I just had to come up with a way, and this was my solution. Just a whole bunch of holes and a whole bunch of bolts and a lot of messing around, you know. I could have done it in strips and just welded them all, but man, that would have been a warped, messed up, Pringle looking thing by the time we got done welding all that. The bolts worked a lot better. Then we had to lay out the diverter plate with these little offset angle brackets to the measurements on the drawing the engineer gave me. Not too bad, just measure it all out, transpose it to our plates, and tack it in place. While Alex was welding that, I took and bolted the little plate that I made to tie the two halves together, because the plate they wanted was too big to fit through the hole. We had to do it in two pieces. So while he was welding that, I was getting the other part all ready, just to hopefully bolt together a little quicker, save us a little time. I think it looks pretty cool with all the bolts, kind of like an old riveted boiler bulkhead or something. Pretty sweet. Definitely wouldn't look that good if we had to weld it all together, that's for sure. We left the bottom half of the diverter plate off at first so we could reach in there and weld the inside while it was bolted to the top so that it didn't warp too bad. Every time you weld, it's always going to pull the metal. No matter how you space it around and jump around, it's always going to pull. So if you can leave that plate bolted on but still leave yourself some access, it sure makes life a lot easier. And then we went through and bolted that plate on after he got done welding it. And then it was just a ton of welding. He ended up welding the whole thing with 8010, which is 80,000 psi tensile strength pipe liner, which is Lincoln's pipe rod. Works pretty good. It's a downhill rod. Just works pretty good. It gets good penetration and it's pretty quick fill. He ended up welding both sides of this baffle and this treater. It's the same thing, same procedure, looks the same. Didn't think we'd have to show it twice. Not too bad, and then he buffed it all up and got it all cleaned up and ready for coating. Like I say, they're going to come through and sandblast this before they coat it, so any spatter or anything that's in their way, they'll knock off. Does a pretty good job. And then once they coat it, it'll be nice and sealed and covered and coated. But the welds are not too bad, not too bad. He does pretty good work. We got some pretty good help at the moment. A lot of good guys I've been working with. Really appreciate their help. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do any of this YouTube stuff at all. Well, that's it for this one, guys. If you guys stuck around and watched it, I hope you guys got to see kind of what we do out there. It's kind of neat. You know, not all the stuff that we do in the oil field I can show you. Some of it's proprietary and the customer doesn't want us to show you, and other times it's just not really that interesting. But this one was pretty cool. All right, well, see you guys next time. Remember, me and Jesus love you. Talk to you later.